Welcome to the first postseason edition of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Spiro Maricas, along with the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin. And Coach, it was do or die for the most part on Saturday, and your team did.
It did. Yeah, we went into it with, wanting to play our best lacrosse, in that game, and knowing that we still had control of our future and our path, and knowing that if we won that game, that put us in position for the CAA tournament. And really proud of our guys to step on the field ready to play and be able to obviously accomplish what we wanted to.
We noted last week that Delaware really was pounding teams in the first half, outscoring them 2-1. Well, you guys did that to them. Led 11-5 at halftime. I think it's safe to say that was the best 30 minutes of lacrosse this team has played all year.
Yeah, it started a little rough, being two-man down, and they score off of the opportunity. And but you'd almost rather have that early and just kind of get it out of your way. And Matt responded with a face-off fast break goal, which I think just got our guys back in. Even earlier than that, our first possession, we drive, we get a great shot off. Their goalie makes a big save, then he makes a diving save. We were kind of feeling like, oh boy, this could be a long day. But once we got into a little bit of a groove in that first half, our guys, I think that confidence continued to build with what we were doing offensively, the opportunities we could get defensively, being able to play pretty sound and discipline. Evan Long doing a good job in the net for us there. So, and then obviously Matt being able to control a lot from the X was very helpful throughout that first half.
Well, the other thing is you were getting scoring from everywhere. It wasn't like one or two guys. I mean, you were getting it from several players.
Yeah, and they kind of, they force you to do that. You're going to have guys generate different opportunities, by the way that they were playing, and our guys, did a good job of working for those shots, working, together as a unit offensively, and then when they did and got hands free, put the ball on net in good spots.
Now, halftime. I'm not sure what was said, but obviously with a team as talented as Delaware, even though they're down 6 goals, the game's not over, which they showed because they came out and they played much like you did in the first half in that third quarter, outscoring you 4-0.
Yeah, they came out, played well. We knew, obviously, they weren't going anywhere. They were there to win that game just as much as we were, and we communicated that. They came out and ran zone, which we anticipated. We actually thought they'd start running it in the second quarter when we were having a good amount of success. They didn't, but we were still kind of prepared for it and ready for it. But for whatever reason, we just didn't handle it well offensively. We rushed some passes. We weren't as organized as we needed to be. Rushed our offensive possessions. That wasn't us. That wasn't what we had been doing, in that game and playing more settled, more poised. And then, they were able to get some really good looks, and get goals on the board. And, yeah, that was, at the end of the third quarter, that was, a chance for us to hit the reset button and get back on track.
What do you say to the guys after that third quarter? Because you don't want panic to set in. You're still winning. What do you say?
You keep them focused on what opportunity and what we can control moving forward. That was my thought process and the way I wanted to approach that quarter break between the third and fourth quarter. Recognizing, hey, that this past quarter, the third quarter was not us. We own that. But it's past us. Flush it, put it behind you, and move forward. I was like, what can we, take care of moving forward, getting back on track, playing more poised and controlled on the offensive end, knowing what they were running and how they were trying to counter us, from their defensive perspective and what we wanted to do. And then again, just being more disciplined on the defensive end and being more on the same page and continuing to make those little plays. That was a big point of emphasis for us during the course of the game going into it, is earning those plays through the middle of the field, the ground balls, making the one more pass, being able to share the ball more offensively, generating higher percentage shots, being connected on the defensive end. So really just focusing on the little pieces of the game that can help you be successful. So putting that third quarter behind us, moving forward, and what we could control and how we need to do that.
Well, you did win going away, 15-10. Now, let's take a look at some individual things here. First of all, Delaware, Ward and Kurtz had combined for over 130 points coming into this game on Saturday. You held Kurtz to 2 assists, no goals. J.P. Ward did get his 3 and 1, but Garrett Zungalia did a tremendous job, and with that, he wins the Defensive Player of the Week in the CAA? What was it that he was able to do that Kurtz was basically a non-factor in the ball game?
Well, Garrett's long. He's a long defender, so he can have reach on a guy and he can stay into him. Kurtz is one of the best players in the country offensively. You got to pay pretty special, pretty close attention to him. So I think Garrett was more keen, obviously, with that, but also our team around Garrett. So if we had to rotate off of Kurtz, making sure who was on him. There was one time we had a short stick getting matched up with him. Kurtz was dodging from behind, so we slid early. Try to flush that matchup, get him to move the ball. So really trying to limit the amount of time the ball is in his stick. Garrett being more aware of obviously what he's capable of and trying to play better team defense on him and around him.
And then Ward, last year in the championship game, he killed you coming around with that wraparound shot. This time you guys were sliding and double teaming him, and he really was not a factor for much of the game.
He was good. I mean, it was a big boy battle between him and Bars going at each other, and it was like two Rams kind of colliding, and we knew and expected that to be the case. But hopefully, Ward's a little bit more focused on trying to gain leverage on Colby, and that's where we want to try to maybe create those sliding opportunities and put some pressure on him with that. But there's also times where Colby was kind of on his own and trying to hold his ground, and it was a good battle, and it's going to continue to be obviously a good battle.
And then Matt Constantinidis did a job on Hockenberry. He won 18 of 28 faceoffs. That certainly helps.
Yeah, possession and what you do with those possessions, is a lot within the game. I've always said, basically, your face-off guy is really only as good as how efficient your offense is with those possessions. And I think this was a little bit of a product of that. Matt doing really well at the X, our offensive, more offensive opportunities for us, but being able to finish those opportunities out with goals. Really, really good job by Matt, but even more so, our wing play I thought was really strong. Sam Morin did a terrific job. Reese, Potter, Austin Stewart, guys like that, Elijah Smith, another freshman for us playing, being able to really help Matt out, get some tough ground balls, but also let Matt kind of do his thing and keep the Delaware guys away from him as well.
Well, that's in the past now. Mm-hmm. You have a unique situation where you're going to play the same team you just played 4 days ago. You're going to play them on Thursday, the Delaware Blue Hens, at their place. As coaches, you know that you're going to look at the tape, see maybe some things you can do differently. Coach DeLuca is going to be doing the same thing. How do you adjust in a 4-day period, or do you say, we were successful, let's keep doing what we were doing?
Yeah, and that's something that we've continued to try to focus on, being more focused on ourselves and what helps us be successful, but also anticipate what the other team's going to do against you to counter that or how they're going to attack you, at the same time. So there's that kind of chess match that's definitely going to happen with what they were successful with or had opportunities with that maybe they didn't cash in on. Is like, will they go back to that more? How are they going to tweak it? Where were we vulnerable defensively? Maybe offensively, what generated well for us? How are they probably going to adjust? And just try to have answers for everything that we can expect to see and understand how we want to attack it. So you want to continue to, be who you are, but also know that you might have to adjust here and there with how, the game's going or how they're playing you or how you need to play them.
The other thing is, in that third quarter, you guys had 6 turnovers. And, a good situation for a coach is when you win, but you still have things that you can bring attention to. And I'm sure, and you've been preaching it all year because turnovers have been a problem, that the team's got to be more careful with the ball.
Yeah, and that was something we pointed out in film was, especially in that third quarter, we had some failed clears. We were I don't want to necessarily say we were careless with the ball. We just didn't make smart plays, and just we weren't connected, whether it be clearing and passes there, whether it be offensively. So it was just we were just off. We were just a little bit off. So again, bringing that attention to that. But the nice thing too in some of those possessions where we failed to clear and they came back down on offense is that we were able to create a turnover, or cause turnover, and get it back up the other way, and being able to get it back and get it back into our offensive end. So I was really proud of the guys in that regard to do that. Obviously we don't we want to stay away from the front end of that and having a turnover in our clear or what have you there.
It is kind of nice, though, to play probably your best game going into the tournament. That the team has shown great improvement from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, which is what you want.
Yeah, it was a strong game. There's no doubt about it. But again, one quarter where it was not, and we talked about that again today. Is like, hey, we played well. There's no doubt about it. I think we played, like you said, in those 3 quarters, first, second, and fourth quarter, we played, some pretty nice lacrosse. What we really are aspiring to be, but we have room for improvement, and we have, more work to be done, to be able to continue to string that throughout the course of the game, from start to finish.
All right, so the Tigers and the Blue Hens go at it Thursday at 5:30. Glenn Smith and I will have it for you on TowsonTigers.com. And hopefully next week, the coach and I are sitting here doing the NCAA version of the Tiger Men's Lacrosse Report. So for the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadlin, I'm Spiro Marikas. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.